Podcast City Network. You're listening to The Everett Lee Show.
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's rock. Welcome to the Tuesdays edition, podcast edition of The Everett Lee Show. I'm your host, Everett Lee. As always, I have a really good podcast lined up for you today. I have with me today on The Everett Lee Show Tuesdays edition my guest, Kirk Goodall. Kirk Goodall stopped by the Everett Lee Show to talk with me about his involvement with Zombie with a Shotgun, podcasting, which he co-hosts the Afronerd radio on blogtalk.com. He hosts that with Afronerd, and he stopped by to talk with just a really good conversation we had, and I'll be playing that here just in a little bit. I want to mention Happy Mother's Day, happy belated late Mother's Day to all the mothers out there and anyone that listens to this podcast. I just want to say happy belated Mother's Day to you. It was kind of hard for me and my wife yesterday for Mother's Day with those that are close to us and know me, what I've been through, or actually what we've been through at the first of this year. My wife lost her mother, my mother-in-law, we lost her, and on that same day we lost our son. My wife was 21 weeks, and we lost her son, and we've been trying to deal with it in the last few months, and it's been really tough, but things are getting better. Things are getting much easier. They're getting much easier, and we just embrace each other. We let each other know that we love each other, and it's brought us closer. I know with stuff like this that happens to people, it usually pushes each other away, but it's actually drawn me and my wife much closer to each other, and we want to have kids. I mean, bottom line, we want to have kids. We're still going to try to have kids because I'd love to introduce and show my son or daughter, which one I have, I don't care. I just want to show them the world and what I'm involved in with comics, video games, and just the hobbies that I like. And hopefully they'd like that, but if not, if they like to do something else and their personality and interest goes in a different direction, that's fine, because I will embrace and I will love them because they are my son or daughter. And it's tough. It is tough. Like mentally and physically, I'm beaten up and down over this, but I just thank God that I'm alive and I can do this podcast. I can reach out and talk to other people on Twitter and talk with them. A lot of you, I just want to mention this. I want to thank you for tweeting to me, messaging me, let me know how sorry you are with everything that's been going on with me and my wife. And I do appreciate that. I do appreciate that. If I have not gotten back with you about that, about you reaching out to me, I've seen it, and I'm sorry I haven't gotten back sooner, but I just want to thank you for that. I do. And I want to give a quick shout out real quick here to everyone that listens to the podcast. Be sure to hit me up on soundcloud.com/EverettLeeShow. Be sure to head over to iTunes, put in Everett Lee Show, and subscribe to that as well. And subscribe to the YouTube channel for preview clips of upcoming guests I have on the show as well. Twitter, you can always hit me up on Twitter at @TheEverettLeeShow. Facebook.com/TheEverettLee. You can check that page out as well. And once in a while, I throw stuff up on Instagram.com/EverettLeeShow. Recently, I had to put that account private because all the freaking Instagram whores that like to come on there and, hey, check out my sexy webcam shots. No. I'm
afraid I've got some bad news.
The only people I'm interested in on Instagram is people that connect with me, and none of that shit. So, besides that, just want to throw that out there. And a lot to talk about this week. I'm going to mention this on Thursday's podcast. It's about comics, which, on Thursday's podcast, if you listen to that, the Mirror Crew Lounge, I talk about show reviews on The Flash and Arrow. I'm going to briefly mention that the seasons are wrapping up, and it's going to be pretty interesting to talk about with the next few episodes of talking about what's going on with The Flash and Arrow and any comic book related stuff. I know this is not comic book, I know this is not what I usually talk about on the Tuesdays podcast, but I just want to throw this out here about some stuff that I am going to talk about. Going to talk about a little bit about some comic stuff, which I will get more into on Thursday's edition podcast. I want to talk about what's been going on over this weekend. We had Free Comic Book Day on Saturday. I went out and supported my local comic book store, which is just right around the block from me, World of Comics. Last year for Comic Book Day, I went out to Books A Million, and I picked up a couple graphic novels. I think I picked up like a Angel hardback cover of the graphic novel Angel from the TV show. I picked up, I'm trying to jog my memory here, I think I picked up a graphic novel of The Walking Dead. And I got a discount from it though, but it just didn't really, I wasn't too excited about it. I was like, yay. But this year I decided, you know what? I'm going to embrace my local comic book store. Everyone talks about embracing your local businesses. Last month I went out to Record Store Day here in Daytona. I supported my local record store, Atlantic Sounds, for Record Store Day. I picked up a vinyl record of Jimi Hendrix Smash Hits, which is awesome. I need to buy a turntable so I can listen to it, because I sit here and I'm looking at this thing like every day. I'm like, damn, man, I just wish I could listen to this. I love some old classic rock. I do. I have a wide variety of music I listen to, but I do like the classics. I do like throwing on the classics and listening to that and jamming out to that, whatever I'm doing around the house here. But besides that, I went to my local comic book store. Went in there. I picked up the free comics. They allowed 3 free issues to pick up. I picked up Suicide Squad #1. I picked up the Civil War 2. And I picked up Serenity, that has to do with Hellboy and aliens. I've not gotten around to read it just yet, but I was talking to the shop owner. I said, hey, you got anything on the Infinity Wars? Why, hell yes, he did. He brought me to the section, and he brought up some issues. I happened to pick up issue 2 and 3 of the Infinity Wars, and he told me from time to time he does get those issues in and to check back with him. And which I will, because I want to get into reading that and finding out more about the Infinity Wars. And on this segment I did with Kirk Goodall, you will hear about the time gap I've had between comics. And it just had to do with me growing up. There was a lot of stuff I was sheltered from growing up. From a short time, we watched wrestling, I was in the comics, and then situations and stuff at home which made me not be able to bring that stuff home and enjoy it because of who I was living with at the time and who was in the house. But I'm like a kid in the candy store. I'm coming back and seeing this stuff, hearing about stuff, and getting into it, and it's new for me the first time. It's like, you know how like in other countries, like whatever was popular or trending here has come and gone, and now like in some other country it's like really big there, and that's how I am. I'm usually late on getting into things, but I get into it, and I like talking with people about it and hearing their opinion and perspective on stuff that I just find out. I'm like, wow, man, I didn't know this existed. Tell me more about it. I want to hear more about it, and I really do enjoy that. With that said, comic books. Captain America came out this past weekend, and it explodes to a 678 million worldwide. Captain America opened up in North America with an estimated of 181.8 million. It's the 5th highest domestic opening in the industry's history. Marvel Studios now has 4 of the top 6 openings of all time. An estimated international weekend of 220 million results in an overall global weekend of 401.8 million and a worldwide total of 678.39 million to date for the 5th global release of the number 3 Western international release of 2016. I mean, how can you not be wrong? A lot of people were ready for this and went and seen it. I have not seen it yet. I'm trying to stay away from spoilers and stuff, but I will go see this. And when I do, I'll let you know what I think about this. I'll let you know. And speaking of comic books, I just want to throw this out here. Ben Affleck, you've probably already heard, Ben Affleck is now an exclusive producer on Justice League. Deadline reports that Ben Affleck has just signed on to serve as an executive producer for Warner Brothers' upcoming Justice League movie, which he'll also star as Bruce Wayne Batman. And this announcement should also cement that the WB is investing heavily in Affleck's involvement with their DC cinematic universe moving forward, as he's set to direct a solo Batman movie sometime in the future. He co-wrote the script for the film with DC Chief Executive Official Jeff Johns. I may be saying that wrong. But you know who I'm talking about if you read comics, and you know who he is. I'm excited about this. You'll hear my take on Affleck with Kirk Goodall, Captain Kurt from Afronerd Radio, in the segment I'm about to play. You'll hear that. You'll hear my take on Affleck and what I think about Affleck, and you just have to hear it. You just will have to hear it. I know I'm kind of rushing through this, though, but I just want to pull up some points here and there. And one point I just want to pull up is that Wolverine 3 has started filming. Folks are mighty excited to see how Jackman wraps his role up. Here's a little audio sample of that conversation.
Jumping into the next Wolverine, which I cannot wait to see.
Yeah, it's really it's exciting. It's a very radical, bold, different Wolverine than you've ever seen in any of these movies.
Patrick Stewart was rumored to be a part of that film. Is he still a part of it?
I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say about that. I will agree with you that Patrick Stewart was rumored to be a part of that film. It takes place in the future, and as you and others have reported, it is an R-rated movie. It's violent. It's kind of like a Western in its tone. It's just a very cool, different film.
My last thing, because I got to go already, which is effing crazy. I've heard rumors it's going to be filming in New Orleans in the upcoming months. Is that true?
It has already begun filming.
That's right. Wolverine 3 has already begun filming. And I just want to add on to this that since Deadpool came out with it being rated R, it's awesome that they are going to go towards the rated R with this movie, because you got to have Wolverine, man. You got to have some berserker rage. You got to have him going a little bit crazy and a little bit violent. I mean, that's the character Wolverine. You know, he's violent, and you have to have that, man. I believe you have to have that. So I'm looking forward definitely to seeing this, and I'm also looking forward to seeing that Hugh Jackman, I know if he says this is his last go around, I think that he will give it all. He will put in 110%. I love Hugh Jackman. I love the movies that he's done, and I love how he's embraced his character. And it's going to be sad for me to see him bow out in grace. And hopefully this will live up to the hype. I hope it does. I hope it definitely does live up. I mean, I loved him in the X-Men movies. I do. And I know the X-Men Apocalypse, which is coming out here shortly. I wish they wouldn't have teased that little cameo he's doing in it, just like he did in X-Men First Class. I wish they wouldn't have done that. But, I guess, you got to hype it up and you got to draw people in to see your movie. And hopefully X-Men Apocalypse will be what it's going to be. I just hope so. I do. Remember when Sony got hacked last year and a lot of stuff came out about what Sony has planned up? One thing I thought was a little bit weird, a little bit like, was that the fact that Sony wants to take the next 21 Jump Street movie and take Men in Black and do a crossover with them.
Damn!
That's what they want to do. That is what they want to do.
Damn!
Yep, that's right. That is right. They want to do a crossover. What do I think about that? I don't know. I don't know. It looks like that the James Bobin, I'm just reading this off of here. It said that he's indeed to direct the Men in Black 23, the anticipated crossover film between 23 Jump Street and Men in Black that was announced not too long ago. Of course, we had word that back in March, but the Muppets director had yet defiantly say that he was on board with the project until today. Here is what he had to say about that.
Are you doing, I could be wrong about this, but are you the one who's doing the MIB 23?
Rumor has it.
Right.
Yes.
I think that title's amazing.
Thank you.
So my question is that definitely the title?
It's the working title. It's all documents I currently read about at the moment, yes.
I understand. I personally love this idea of reimagining, because I love the 21 Jump Street.
Sure, me too.
I basically love the idea, but I'm sure you've heard there are some people who are like, I don't know about this one. What can you tease anything? What do you want to? You know what I mean?
I understand that reaction, but when you read the script, you understand exactly why we're doing this movie. It's awesome.
I understand. When do you start filming?
Probably the end of this year.
Damn!
Yeah. Okay. Hopefully this will work out. I don't know. Crossovers like this, it's going to be strange. I'd probably watch this just to see how the hell this is going to work out. Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones, I love them. Men in Black. I love the Men in Black movies. The 21 Jump Street thing was alright, funny. I mean, I do like Jonah Hill. I like some of the movies he does, but I don't know about this. I'm kind of throwing this up in the air. I just don't know. Hopefully it just won't be anything that will turn out just terrible. If it does, then it's just going to be... That's right. You know what? If this is like that, then I guess...
Time for a reboot.
You got that right. Do it the right way, Hollywood. Do it the right way, please. and talking about reboots. Power Rangers. It's been going around here for a while that they're talking about doing another freaking reboot of Power Rangers. Well, it looks like we got a look at the costumes. Entertainment Weekly has the first official look at the Power Ranger costumes for the upcoming reboot.
Time for a reboot.
No, not now, Duke. You already got that. Okay?
All aboard the Midtown Express to hell.
Well, maybe, Duke, maybe. This is what Entertainment Weekly had to say about this here. They said, quote, "It's tricky finding a new language for a superhero costume." Production designer Andrew Minzine, G.I. Joe Retaliation, tells the magazine, quote, Ours is an alien costume that grows on them. It's not man-made. You can't win everyone over, but we are trying to appeal to a more mature audience and gain new fans. If you remember the Power Ranger show, it had to deal with like 5 ordinary high school students who become chosen to defend Earth from monsters from the moon, The look of these costumes, I don't know. They look, honestly, I'm looking at them, they kind of look badass, man. If you look on YouTube, I just got to say this. If you look on YouTube, there's a short film on YouTube that someone threw together about Power Rangers, and they made it much more mature. And it's pretty amazing how they did this. I liked it. If they were going to go with a Power Ranger movie, they kind of made them a little bit rough and dark, but I don't know. I look more Power Rangers as a kid's thing, and I guess they're trying to take it and turn it to a more dark, mature thing for mature audiences. I mean, the only people that watch Power Rangers are kids. They are kids. Kids love Power Rangers, and you're going to take something of a kid's thing and turn it dark. It's like almost taking like the true. It's like take Disney, for example. Take Snow White, Cinderella, or Little Red Riding Hood. Take these movies, Sleeping Beauty, and they've turned these into fun, going all age kids movies. If you actually look into the stories of those, you got to go back. Go back to the Brothers Grimm's fairy tales. I own that book. It's a thick book of all these fairy tales. I mean, hell, Cinderella had to deal with freaking cutting off body parts. I don't want to ruin your Disney, thing here, because it's just, yeah, it is. Cinderella had to deal with like body parts. The stepsisters cutting off parts of their foot so they could fit in the glass slipper so they can marry the king. I mean, I don't know. It's like taking. It's just I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see how this goes, man. We'll see how this goes. It may work, it may not. But if it don't work, then it's just a bunch of
warning, warning, bullshitter alert.
That's right. That is right. And that is all, ladies and gentlemen, I have to talk about this week on the Everett Lee Show. I want to take a quick break, and when I come back, I will go ahead and we will listen to the interview, the segment I did with Afronerd Radio co-host Captain Kirk Goodall. Ladies and gentlemen, on the program today, I'm sitting here with the host of Afronerd Radio, Kirk Goodall. Kurt, welcome to the Everett Lee Show.
Thank you for having me, sir. Thank you very much for that.
You podcast, I podcast. Could you tell me how it is for you with you podcasting your own show? How that is?
Well, in essence, it's a very interesting experience. It's a very interesting experience. I operate with Afronerd himself. I co-host from time to time. What we do on the Wednesday show is that we talk about, from an independent and a conservative perspective, pop things, pop culture situations, and also things that address black people in general.
Right.
That's what we're doing on Wednesday. On Saturday, now it's a whole different type of show. On Saturday, what we're doing is comic stuff. It's called The Comic Shop. And as presently, we have 4 people on that show. We have Afronerd himself. We have the great Darryl B., who's a comic book aficionado. And we have a new addition, Claire Lene, woman.
Awesome.
And also myself. We go back and forth. We talk about Batman versus Superman. We talk about Civil War. We talk about comic books. We talk about sometimes video games, that sort of thing. That's what we're doing.
That's awesome. I did listen to your last 2 podcasts, and I'm hooked now. Just listening to it, just the topics that you covered, and just the format that you have for Afronerd Radio. I really do enjoy it. I do.
Oh, thank you very much for that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I really did like the soundbite that you guys threw in there with the Birdman. Every time that plays, I just start laughing, man, because it's so good. It fits at the right moment when you're talking. You throw that in there. Put some
respect on my name.
I love that. And when I listened to the podcast when you're talking about Birdman, I was like, wow. I was like, because I didn't know that happened. And then I checked it out on YouTube. And then when you taking that soundbite, putting it in there as you do your show, it cracks me up, because I forget which one it was I was listening to where you were in serious talk, and then you just throw that in there all of a sudden. And I was at work just listening to you guys on my phone, and I just started laughing, man. People looking at me, and I'm like, I was like, you gotta check this out, man. This show is really good, and I'm always looking for new shows to listen to, some new stuff. I've come upon some podcasts that just didn't grasp my attention, but
okay. Your
show, the format and how it's laid out, it's done really good, and I like listening to a show that's like that knows what they're going to talk about and knocks out each topic along the way.
Well, thank you very much for that, sir.
You're welcome.
Well, that's a good feeling.
I did a Google search on Afronerd Radio, and it just, like on Google here, it just pops up just all over the place. I'm just really impressed with how you're on Blog Talk Radio. How long you been doing Afronerd Radio on Blog Talk?
Well, I've been involved with Afronerd for about 4.5 years. Afronerd himself has been doing podcasting a bit longer, but my involvement is about 4.5 years.
Oh, awesome.
So I do have some practice in it at this given point.
That is cool. That is cool. I've only been doing this for about 2 years.
Okay.
It's been a struggle for me going uphill and downhill, just trying to get listeners, and I've been connecting more on Twitter than I do on my Facebook account.
Yeah, that can happen.
Yeah.
Twitter, the whole social media situation is a good thing, but you have to be careful. You just have to know how to use that very effectively. But Twitter is a good tool, more so than Facebook in respect to this. And you can interact with a lot of people that you normally would not be able to interact with. You'd be surprised. Sometimes these people actually respond. Sometimes some big names actually respond. Mm-hmm. So it's rather interesting. It's rather interesting.
It is. I've had a lot of indie movie actors and indie film producers, and of course with people with their Kickstarter programs that they're trying to get out there and trying to make a movie or produce a comic book, graphic novel, and I just love interacting with these people. It's just amazing who you come across on Twitter, and then you ask, hey, I do a podcast, you want to come on and talk with me? And then they come on, and you set up the time and everything and the date, and you just go with it, man. It's just amazing. It is.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
What state are you in? You're located in? Because I do hear an accent.
How bad of an accent?
Well, it's not bad at all, but I do hear an accent.
I live in Daytona Beach, Florida.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So it's a little mild then. I've heard a lot more, people with a lot more southern drawl than that. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's probably referring to the Tennessee that's in me. That's from my dad's side. I spent about 11 years up in Tennessee.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I know when I first moved there, I had a really drawled accent, and as time went on, when I moved back down here, I guess it kind of went away, but I guess it's still it's still kind of there.
All right.
Yeah, and you're up in New York, right?
Absolutely, sir. The Big Apple, the foundation. Well, I live in Queens, but I move all about. Queens is just a borough here in NYC, one of the 5 boroughs. I don't really go to Staten Island, though. I go to all the other boroughs, and sometimes I'll go to Long Island also. But, so I reside in Queens. Queens, New York.
Awesome. Just last year, me and my wife, we took a trip up to New York. We went to Times Square. We went up there. We went to Brooklyn for SummerSlam.
Okay.
It was my first time being in Times Square. It was just amazing. It's just so many people, and it's so busy nonstop, man.
This is definitely true. That's what I was about to ask you. Now, you said you're Daytona Beach?
Yes.
Yeah, but you see people. Tourist area.
Yeah.
You see people. You're used to seeing people.
Yes.
So, Times Square shouldn't be, too much of a big shocker.
Yeah.
You're used to seeing people. I've met people from smaller towns in middle America. They come to New York, and they're more or less devastated due to the amount of people that they see. They're not used to seeing anything like that. They're like, it's like the people are just on a treadmill going over and over again. They just keep coming. Absolutely. That's why they say the city never sleeps.
Oh, it definitely does never sleep, because when we rode the subway to Brooklyn, rode it back, and we were coming up from the subway, walking through Times Square, it was still busy just like it was during the day. I was just in awe at just, it never does sleep. It never does, and I did enjoy it. I really did enjoy it. My niece, she lives up there in New York. She works out of Times Square, and she lives over in East Village.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, she lives right next.
I'm familiar with the area.
She lives right next to a landmark. She pointed out, and I happened to snap a picture of the building that's on the front cover of Led Zeppelin's Physical Graffiti album.
Okay.
That's pretty awesome that she pointed that out.
Yeah, that definitely an enlightening experience, that right there, for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. Speaking of New York, you and me have a mutual friend, Hilton Arrow Ruiz.
Yes, sir.
I met Hilton last year. I was talking with Hilton about Zombie with a Shotgun when he was trying to make that into a graphic novel. I talked to him a few weeks ago, and he started a Kickstarter to try to make it into a movie. And I was really excited about that, and I sat down with him, and I got to talk with him about the process. And that led into me talking with Kyle Hessner, which I talked to just last week. And that led into talking again with Hilton, talking with you. You are attached to the project as a producer. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, let's back up now.
Okay.
All right. I've known Hilton Arrow Ruiz for a very long time. More than 15 years.
Wow.
But I will start at the 15 years ago point. Maybe I'll go back a little bit further. Well, to understand this, Hilton has been making films off and on for many years, more than 20 years. But I got involved with his film aspect, about 15 years ago, off and on. He started involving me in some projects. He says, you need to learn about this, learn about filmmaking, learn about lighting, screenplays, directing, the whole many facets that you have with filmmaking. I was learning underneath the great Hilton Arrow Ruiz, and he taught me a lot. So he saw that I had the aptitude for filmmaking. So he said, okay, I'm going to start, putting your name on a few projects because you did help me out. You did give me a few pointers. You did give me some direction, even though, 95% of the stuff was him. But, just a little direction here and there. Maybe you want to shoot it this way. Maybe, this person should not be the lead, that sort of thing.
Right.
So after that, I was just getting involved more and more from a filmmaking standpoint. And what happened, which was totally amazing, somewhere along that line, I started looking at movies differently. It's just like my eyes more or less just got trained. So now I'm looking at movies. I'm going, okay, here comes plot point 1, plot point 2, plot point 3. Okay, the lighting is not right here for this scene. I'm breaking it down as I'm watching it all at once. Before filmmaking or interacting with Hilton, let's put it correctly. Well, he's really the filmmaker. I was more or less interacting, so I'm co-producer. Before interacting with Hilton, I would just watch the movie just like anybody else.
Right.
So, oh, that was good. Now I'm just breaking it down. My eyes are trained, so I can automatically. You show me something within 30 seconds, I can tell you it's garbage. And then the rest of the people are like, "What do you mean? You got to give it?" I said, "No, I don't have to see it. I know already. The pacing is wrong. They wrote it that way because the actor really couldn't act. You just start seeing all of these type of things. Oh, this is garbage. Get this out of here."
Right.
Then at the same time, you can look at a project and say, well, I can tell they really didn't have money, but there's potential here. Because money to a filmmaker is like a painter to paint. You have to give the painter the right equipment and also the right paint to bring out their painting. Same thing with filmmakers. You could see something, it's so-so, but they need a bit more money. You learn that also, too.
Right. Then
you could also see at the same time, even if I gave them the money, the project still would be garbage. You get to see that, too, Yeah. So it's a whole training process that happens.
Right.
Whole training process happens.
That's really good looking and seeing movies from a different point of view. Me, as a casual moviegoer, I wouldn't look at it that way. But with you looking at a movie behind the camera, it's totally different, and you know what you're looking for, and you know what's good and what fits and what don't fit. That's
absolutely
that's really awesome. That is.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't checked with Hilton here lately. Have you started any production or anything with Zombie with the Shotgun?
Not as of yet. As of right now, we're still in the campaign.
Okay.
We're still in the campaign. We have a few more days left. We're still in the campaign. We're still in the process of raising money, so that's ongoing. That's where we are in respect to that. As far as that comic book, the graphic novel, we have Simone, the artist,
right,
that put together, the great material that you see, that you may see via the internet, via the, the website and everything. That comic book is coming. That's a real thing. So that'll be coming probably later on this year. See that comic.
That's awesome. I've been looking forward to it. I definitely have. Ever since when I talked to Hilton last year, I've been looking forward to seeing this and having it, just holding it in my hands and just going through and just reading it, because the art is just amazing. Just how it's drawn out and how it's presented is so amazing. I like getting on Twitter there and checking out the pictures of the art that's on tweets and stuff, and I I share it and try to get it out there. I feel like I try to do my part, with trying to get it out there and share it with people and saying, hey, you need to check this out, because it's just it's just fantastic, man. It is. He has something that's grabbed my attention, and
yes,
it's starting to grab a lot of people's attention, and especially with Kyle Hessner. Have you talked with Kyle?
I didn't speak with Kyle as yet. I spoke to him over the internet and everything, but I have not directly spoken with Kyle as of yet. That'll probably take place later on. But, Hilton speaks with Kyle on a regular basis, back and forth. So.
Yeah, I just talked to him last week. He's pretty good guy, man. I mean, really, really cool, down to earth person to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
He was over there. He lives over in L.A. and
yes, sir.
He was in the middle of working with me, and he was talking with me, and I thought it was neat, him working and throwing down a 30-minute conversation with me just to talk about different things and talk about Zombie with the Shotgun. And I really did enjoy talking with him. Really good guy.
All right. That's always a plus.
Oh, yeah.
That's always a plus. So when you pass around the names, You know, you need to pay attention to these guys. These are good people. That's what we want to hear.
Yep, exactly. In podcasting, is there any moment that sticks out for you?
Well, let's see. You see, all right, on the Wednesday show, we go through a lot of different topics. It's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's a whole menagerie of topics. We just go back and forth, back and forth. So, in respect to that show, I would say no. Nothing really sticks out. But on the Saturday show, when we were talking about when I was just reaming the Batman versus Superman Dawn of Justice movie.
Yes.
That stuck out at me. I was, that whole thing. There's a lot of things. Now if I start thinking about it.
Right.
There's a lot of things. Sometimes you get these callers and they're very emotional. Specifically on that show. They call it very emotional. They love these characters. They're all enamored. They're caught up. You think it's a wife or, it's their son or something. Oh, well, I've been reading this for the last 30 years. I said, yeah, but, that's good. But the movie sucked, though.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. There you go.
Right.
Now, you talk about Daredevil with the Punisher. Oh,
yes.
Man, that's Nirvana. That's the best.
That is. I just got one thing to say about that.
Go ahead.
That's what I got to say. Jackpot. that is awesome. The podcast I just released today, I just broke word about, or just mentioned, it's already been out there, but I just went ahead and mentioned it, was that I'm excited that Netflix is decided to go ahead and greenlight the spin-off to Punisher.
That's my guy.
I love the Punisher. I just enjoy the character. I mean, Frank Castle. I mean, just briefly, if you look at Frank Castle, just everything he's went through, losing his family and just taking out the mob and just, being judge, jury, executioner. He's just a character with so much depth and emotion. I don't know what draws me to him. I guess just he's going to do what needs to be done in his mind, and that's his way or the highway, I will tell you what draws me to him. I'll tell you right now, he gets it. He gets it. Let's talk about this. This is what I said to people before. I said, better people than me have tried to save people. I don't know if you're a religious person, but it's Jesus Christ. They nailed him to a cross. Right. You got Martin Luther King. You got Malcolm X. You have a lot of different people who people would say they were trying to save people, or they were trying to save a generation, trying to save a movement. Can't save people. When you try to save people from that perspective, they always end up doing evil to you. Now, if you look at Daredevil. Yes.
Daredevil wants to run around and save everybody. And here's the kicker. Now, I don't know how you feel about religion and everything else, but I'm going to say certain things here. Here's the kicker. He's confessing his sins to a Catholic priest. Catholic priests have been shown to be some of the biggest baby buggerers going out. A lot of them been defrocked. I'm like, look at this. That's just like a slap in your face. You're telling the priest, hey, I'm confessing my sins. Not all of the priests now. Not all priests are that way. Right. But they have a cloud over their situation at this given time. And you got Daredevil doing this. Frank Castle understands. This was something that Batman didn't understand with the Joker. Right? The Joker locks him up. Then he lets Joker out. He kills 10 people. Locks Joker up again. Joker gets out, kills 20 people. Lock Joker up, he gets out, he kills 40 people. You lock Joker up, he gets out, he kills 50 people. Kill the Joker. That's it.
Yeah.
The lesser of two evils. Yes, you're killing. But if you let this guy out, he's going to kill 30, 40, 50, 100 people. It's real simple. You understand? And this is what Frank Castle gets. And that's why I like the character. I don't like all this other foolishness. I like the character.
Yeah, he gets it. One of my favorite parts in season 2 of Daredevil was when he's talking to Daredevil. You can probably help me out with this. The line he tells him, he says, "You knock them down." He says, "I knock them down and they stay down."
That's right.
That's what I liked about Punisher. I mean, yeah, he kills them, and yeah, like you said, you pull up some really good points. Daredevil is trying to save everyone. Frank Castle just That's it.
That's it.
That is it. That is
That's
it. It is. And it's awesome that they are bringing the Punisher, having his own spinoff show on Netflix. And I'm looking forward to seeing Iron Fist.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to seeing that. I want to go out now and go into looking at Iron Fist because I've read briefly about the character, and I do got to say this. There's a time period in my life where, growing up, when I was 12, 13, I was in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
There was a big time period up until when I was 20 when I was out of comics because of reasons at home and stuff. My stepmother, evil stepmother, didn't allow.
It's understandable.
Yeah, and so I missed out on a lot of good things in that time period. Now I'm going back and just discovering the stuff that's already been out there, but to me, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I'm like, wow, this is so awesome. This is so amazing, and I want to check out Iron Fist now since I heard he's coming out with his own show for Netflix, and I'm looking forward to Luke Cage, Jessica Jones. I really did enjoy that too.
Yeah, that was good. That was very good.
Yeah,
that was very good.
That was
superhero loving going on there.
That is.
It's pretty good.
That is
pretty good.
It is. I'm hoping to see maybe a cameo by Jessica Jones, because I did Google research, or I did jump into looking to see who Jessica Jones was and what the dynamics is between her and Luke Cage, and I was impressed with that, how their relationship is and stuff. And I'm hoping that maybe Jessica Jones will pop up in Luke Cage, and then I'm looking forward to taking all these characters and throwing them into the Defenders next year.
Yes.
I looked into that too. I was like, wow, this is a pretty good, diverse super group here,
Sure, yeah. That would be interesting. Netflix is knocking it out of the park. They're grand slamming. Bases are loaded. Boom, it's out of here.
Oh yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they are. I mean, they're putting out good content and good shows, like Daredevil, and the other shows that are coming out. Luke Cage, Iron Fist, The Defenders, and it's really amazing. It is. And I know when I listened to your last podcast talking about DC and Marvel, and I just scratch my head sometimes. I'm like, DC, man. I'm like, come on. You got the characters, you got everything there. It's just you need to put it in a motion and a plan,
The problem with DC right now, well, from the TV perspective, episodic TV,
yes,
they're doing well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like The Flash is great. Mm-hmm. That's a great show. Arrow's good. Legends of Tomorrow, a little so-so, but you can watch it.
Yes.
I thought Supergirl was garbage. Just take that off. But again, as Afronerd says, well, it's probably not for you. Yes, you got that right. It's not for me. I thought it was garbage.
Right.
But now the problem with them, from the theatrical release standpoint, is their executives.
Mm-hmm.
That's their problem. It's their executives. It's top down. It's not bottom up. Because you have to build a universe.
Yes.
You have to build a universe. You have the two biggest iconic characters. You have Batman and you have Superman. You have to build the universe and then drop the movie. Not just, we have to react to our Marvel. Marvel is doing all this. We have better characters. Let's just throw it out here. No. Take your time and build it step by step like Lego blocks, and then let it come out. Actually, this movie, Dawn of Justice, to tell you the truth, should not have been out till probably 2020. That was a rush job.
Yeah.
You drop all these other characters. You got Ben Affleck actually can play Batman.
Yes.
I thought he wouldn't be able to, but he can play him.
Yes.
I
was surprised with that performance.
Yes.
When I heard Ben Affleck was playing Batman, all right, this is going to be interesting. It made me think back Heath Ledger playing the Joker in The Dark Knight. Remember how people was like, oh no, it can't be done.
And then he killed it.
Yes.
Yes.
Ben Affleck, I mean, he killed it. His version of Batman, and Bruce Wayne.
The older Batman, the older Batman. This is one thing. When he runs, his head doesn't move at all. Most people, their head, moves a little bit when they run. I pay attention to stuff like that. So you're still a little stiff, Affleck.
Yeah. Yeah. He did a good job.
Yes.
I've always liked Ben Affleck and Matt Damon because of their movie that they wrote that they won an Oscar for, Good Will Hunting.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw that, excuse me, when I first saw that when it came out back, when did that come out? It came out in the 90s. I know that.
Actually, they didn't write it.
They didn't.
Someone else actually wrote it, but it was part of their writing team. They put their name on it.
Okay.
Otherwise, if they didn't do it, it wouldn't go anywhere.
Right. Okay.
It wouldn't go anywhere. That's actually what happened with that. But still, all the same, that happens a lot in Hollywood. You get somebody, you hire him, and you say, okay, dude, and you put your name on it, and it's underneath your umbrella. Otherwise, one, that writer wouldn't get an opportunity. You need someone's name, such as Affleck and Matt Damon, on there for it to go places, and that's pretty much what happened with that.
Okay.
They gave him a few pointers, but they didn't actually sit down and go through it. There's more or less probably the first 10 pages. Let me see that. Okay, change this, do that sort of thing.
Okay.
But it still works.
Yeah.
Still works.
Ever since seeing them in I've always liked the movies that they've done. Even after that, I mean, I've loved Matt Damon in the Bourne movies.
Oh, that's the best. It's the best. It's the best.
Oh! I mean, just Matt Damon, just kick ass, especially with the first one, the Bourne Identity. With what he went through for that scene, for that one fight scene, that's just amazing in the apartment. And then with Ben Affleck, The Town. I mean, showing his director skills and stuff. And what I liked about that is he did the research about, especially the scene where they come out of the van in the nun outfits and stuff.
Yes.
That's where I like Affleck and Damon. And when he was cast again, as Batman, I was like, okay, unlike everyone hating on him, I said, you know what, I'll give him a chance just to see. I said, he can do it or not. And he did it.
I was a hater. I was like, get him out of here. I said, what is he gonna do? These Boston type of movies, that everyone likes because it is that Boston style, like The Town, and there's a few others that he did also. I said, then I saw it. I said, he's not the problem. I said, there's two problems here. Zack Snyder and the executives.
Yes.
That's the problem.
Yes.
That's his.
Yes. I walked in Superman vs. Batman. I walked in there, no high expectations, went in there and just watched it. And after watching it, I'm scratching my head still, I'm like, I look at it and I say to myself, I was like, I could sit down and dissect this and try to understand and figure out, though. But with what a lot of people, just like you said, the Zack Snyder and the executives. And for one thing, I felt like they just took too much and just threw it they crammed it in there. And for me, it just didn't work. I enjoyed Affleck as Batman, and I enjoyed Henry.
What do you mean, the Man of Steel?
The Man of Steel, yeah.
Yes.
I enjoyed Man of Steel. I enjoyed that. It was neat seeing the little glimpse of backstory. Unlike what they did with other origin movies, this one they had a story going on, and then they threw flashback sequences of his origin and stuff. I did really enjoy that, and I enjoyed he was attached to Man of Steel, Russell Crowe and Kevin Costner.
That was good, Russell Crowe. Mm-hmm. Hey, let me interject this, if you don't mind.
Okay.
The problem with Man of Steel was this: they were in a quagmire. Let me explain. The first Superman, what I mean the first one's not really the first one, but the Christopher Reeves version.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That was an incredible movie. You cannot redo that.
No.
Can't redo it. Because Superman is supposed to be like an individual of light. He's always doing good. He's really not supposed to be dark, even though they try to write him dark here and there sometimes in the comic book. But his mythos, he's always a bright individual. Mm-hmm. And that was captured underneath the Christopher Reeves. Also, the second movie, when you were dealing with Zod,
yes,
Neil before Zod,
yes,
that was a good movie too.
Yes, my favorite out of all four of those.
Yeah, okay, that was a very good movie too. So now, when it's time to do Man of Steel, they looked at two things. I looked at, one, we can't redo that movie, which was wise. And then two, where they somewhat made a mistake. They said, well, everything is going dark now. Everyone's liking all these dark movies. You know, everything is dark. The people don't want to see happy-go-lucky. They went and made Man of Steel somewhat of a dark character.
Right.
You know, that's where they messed up some. The movie I thought was all right, but a lot of comic book aficionados looked at Man of Steel and said, that's not Superman. It's not Superman. It's not the Superman I know.
Right.
So that was the situation. See, it's not just as simple as let's just go make a movie. There's politics going on, and there's other things that are going on. That's what I feel happened with that, which part of it was wise, and the other part, not so wise. But Zach did all right with that.
Yes.
Zach did all right for that. Zach was good with 300. A lot of people like 300. And also The Watchmen.
Yes.
He was good with that.
Yes.
You know, Sucker Punch was horrible. There's a lot of other stinkers in there too. You know, I'm telling the truth. You know.
Yeah. You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
That Sucker Punch. What was going on?
I watched. That came on TV one night, and I sat down and watched it, and then I turned it off. I said, "What the hell is this? What was I watching?" And
you got to be on LSD or something in order to enjoy that. But go ahead.
I know, it's just crazy. Have you ever checked out the one film that Zack Snyder did? It's on Netflix. Super.
No, I didn't. No, I have not.
It has. I'm forgetting his name. He's the guy. He's on The Office. I'm forgetting his name.
Is that his first film?
I believe.
There's one movie that he did that everyone talks about. I keep forgetting about. I don't know if it's that's his best film. They say critically acclaimed. That's really what he gets credit for. That's what got him his shot, as they would say.
Oh, yeah.
As you can see, I really don't care for Zach. As you can see, you know.
Yeah. Just, like you said, he did Watchmen, 300, but yeah, I just I'm still gonna be probably scratching my head. Even I'll still be scratching my head about Dawn of Justice, even when I have grandkids. You know, I don't know.
And the prove out point. The movie was so bad, we're still talking about it. We're still talking about it. You know, we're so disappointed. We're talking about it.
I know we are still talking about it. I do want to say this though. Are you ready and ready for Captain America: Civil War?
I have my ticket already. I'm going to see it 6 a.m. Saturday morning.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see that. My wife, just in the last few years, I got her into more the comic book movies, and she really does enjoy them. And when we went and seen the first Thor and Captain America when they came out about almost around that same time, I was like, which one do you like? She really does like Captain America. She does. She really does like Captain America. She really does love that movie, and she's excited for this one. She loved the last one, and I enjoyed the last one. I really did love it, and I can't wait to see this one, just to see where they go with this one. And what about X-Men Apocalypse?
I'm all right on that. I'm not, I'm all right. I'm not really, gung-ho on that.
Oh, no?
I'm not gung-ho. I do the podcast, so I'm going to watch it. So, other than that, if I wasn't doing it, I'd probably wait till it gets to DVD, then I'll watch it. Personally, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I've been a fan of X-Men. This cast of who they got playing the younger versions, I do like Michael Fassbender.
Fassbender.
Yes, I do like. Yes. I do like him playing Magneto, and I did enjoy him in Prometheus. I did enjoy him in that, and
no, he's good. He's talented. He's definitely talented. Can't take anything from that man. Only add on to what he does. That's all. Oh
yeah, definitely. The lead that plays Charles Xavier. I remember watching him in Wanted.
Yes.
Yeah, that was another one of my favorites there, man. That was.
Okay.
Yeah, the movie we were talking about there, I just pulled it up here on my computer here. It's called Super. It came out in 2010, and it has Rainn Wilson from The Office in it, Ellen Page and Liv Tyler and Kevin Bacon. And Michael Rooker, he's in it. And it's a pretty good movie. And it's on Netflix. Last time I checked on Netflix, it was on there. But it's on there if you want to check it out, because it's just some of the parts on the movie I just laugh, and the other times you're like, wow, this is just I found it entertaining. I did enjoy it. I threw it on one night and watched it, and I'm like, wow, this is different. This is like, what if a regular guy throws on a superhero outfit and tries to go out and save people, and you get to see what works and don't work.
All right, I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah, you should definitely take a look at it. I feel like watching it again since I haven't seen it in a while, just to watch it. I like going on Netflix there and just checking out movies I haven't seen in a while, or just something new. I'm always looking for something to watch.
Okay.
I want to thank you, Kirk, for coming on and talking with me with Zombie with a Shotgun, talking about comics, and just having a really good conversation, man. I know this went on just a little bit longer than what we expected, but that's good, because I really do enjoy talking with you. You pull up some good points and some good discussion and good topics. And you want to give any shout-outs, any plugs right before we close?
Let's shout out Afronerd Radio. You could check us out Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio, and also check us out on Saturdays, where we do the Comic Shop at 6 p.m. via Blog Talk Radio. That's about it, sir. Thank you for having me, though.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
No problem, man. No problem. Thanks for coming on.
All right, sir. Until next time.
I want to thank Kirk Goodall for stopping by and talking with me. I hope everyone enjoyed that segment, the interview I did with him. I certainly enjoyed it, man. I love the discussion that we had and different points of views that he's brought to my attention. And I'm going to have to say this. I probably won't look at movies the same again after talking with Kurt. And Kurt, thank you so much for coming on and talking with me on the Everett Lee Show. And I just want to mention an update about Zombie with a Shotgun. Zombie with a Shotgun, Hilton Ariel Ruiz, has now opened up a Indiegogo thing for Zombie with a Shotgun. You go over to indiegogo.com/project/zombie with a shotgun, and you can find all the information there on Zombie with a Shotgun. And please contribute, man. The perks are pretty damn awesome. I mean, how can you not deny a perk to where you can actually be a zombie in the film and you can choose how you want to die? I mean, come on, people, you know. Just contribute, head over there and check out, and also head over to the website, my website, everettshangout.com, and check out in the latest news section, the section where the piece I have on where you can link over to the Indiegogo page and contribute and help make this film happen. Please head over there, everettshangout.com, click on the Indiegogo link for Zombie with a Shotgun, and help contribute to this film. I want to give a quick shout out to Manny Del Rio. Checked out your last episode on the Indie Lounge. Good segment. I enjoyed that. And check out Afronerd Radio. Again, check out Afronerd Radio, on the blogtalk.com website. Check that out as well. And I want to give a quick shout out here to all my followers on Twitter. You can follow me at the Everett _Lee, Facebook.com/TheEverettLee, SoundCloud.com/EverettLeeShow. Stop over there, listen to the latest podcast, listen to past podcast. I have a bunch of content on the SoundCloud page for the Everett Lee Show. Also, iTunes. Head over to iTunes and subscribe to that as well. And the YouTube channel, Everett Lee Show. Check out the preview clips I have for upcoming podcast and segments and stuff as well.